Shator, and I'm back with another episode of the Iron Skillet podcast. We got Logan right here. We got my man T Clem on the boards. Bull Whip and all the orange today.
Well, 3 shades of orange.
And we got my man, our first ever virtual podcast. We got my man Roy Dean. Thank you for coming.
Hey, thank y'all for having me, man. I'm stoked to be here.
How you doing today, man? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good, staying busy and, just trying to get through all this stuff like everyone else, man. So, yeah.
I feel it. So I want to start out because I saw on your Instagram it says that you're I think you live in Texas, but you might have grown up in California possibly?
I did, yeah. So it's I'm born and raised, man, Southern California. I grew up in North County, San Diego area. So that's where I'm from. I lived all over Southern California, but a couple years ago, man, I decided to roll the dice a little bit, and I moved out to Austin, Texas. So I've been out here in Austin, Texas for about 3 years now, and it's dope. I dig it. And man, just grinding out here. So
I feel it. I want to get a little bit of story about your past. So I did a little bit of research. Knew you were out in Cali for a period of time. And I saw that you were into sports a little bit in high school and college. And I kind of want to start off with just asking you, how'd you first get into music or find your way towards a creative path?
Man, so that's a good question. It's funny because I've always been into music, and without me even really in the beginning kind of knowing it. For example, way back, I remember maybe when I was 11 or 12 years old, I had a family friend one year for Christmas. They bought us, well, me really, this little Casio keyboard, one of the little basic joints, right? And I just remember sitting at that thing and just playing different keys and stuff like that. And I figured out how you could, on this little Casio, it was such a piece of shit, but I figured out how to really play it. And I figured out that you could sequence little tracks here and there. And I was figuring out all these different things, man, just as a youngster, and I was like, yo, this is dope. I'm super into this. I learned how to play my little drum schemes and things on there and construct beats on this Casio. And honestly, ever since then, I just been super into music, listening to it, just creating it. Over the years, obviously I've progressed and got better and stuff, but man, I've just kind of always been into it. Plus my pops is a piano player.
Oh, lit.
Yeah, no, he shreds. He's really, really good. So I think a lot of it comes from my pops as well. You know what I'm saying? He used to play jazz music and stuff. So back in the day. So I kind of get that from him as well.
Did he teach you how to play piano, or did you just pick it up on yourself?
Nah, bro, I don't know how to play piano.
Oh, you don't know?
You just it sounds good,
right?
Trav, and that's all that matters.
All the dope beat makers I see him playing piano, and they're like, I don't even know how to play this thing.
Bro, here's what it is, right? All right, I'm not gonna say I don't know how to play piano, but I'll sit at, you know what I'm saying, my little station that I got here, and I'll sit at it and I'll come up with a little chord progression or something like that. But my dad, he plays, you know what I'm saying?
He's in it. Yeah.
He's like Beethoven status.
I feel it.
I mean, in my eyes.
Right.
But, yeah.
How was it balancing music in your life? It was sports and basketball also something you were really passionate about, and how is it trying to balance those two things?
That's crazy that you know that. Oh my God. So yeah, it's funny because when I was a kid, it was always music was always there. And I was always super into it, always listening to the new stuff that came out. And I said, jamming on my little Casio. And a few years later, I got the, FL Studio or Fruity Loops at the time. But for me, it was always into sports. And my parents they didn't push sports, but they nudged me in that direction. And I was always into that. I played baseball, I played basketball. I ended up going the basketball route and played all throughout there. So, as far as to answer your question, a balance, it was for me as a youngster, like it was always kind of sports first, but music was like always there. You know what I mean? Like just kind of when I was younger, kind of in the background, but it was always right there. So
I feel it.
yeah.
I feel it.
Well, in the entertainment world, they kind of go hand in hand, so you didn't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
Well,
That's true, man. Yeah.
Well, I scrolled down on your YouTube page and I saw a video talking about something called, it was like a studio you created, like something dungeon. I forget the name of it, but it was you and another guy. And it seemed like from the video, it was like a studio that you guys had kind of like maybe created or built. And I mean, it looked pretty lit to me. Like, and I just wanted to kind of get the story behind that and see like, were you making your own music? Were you bringing other artists to the studio at that point in time? And like, were you taking music really seriously at that point in time?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, this is a crazy story, actually. I'm super glad you asked it because it's actually, honestly, one of the things in my life that I'm like probably most proud of. And I'm going to tell you why. So my best friend in the world, his name is Dave B. We've been grinding for years. That's like my dog, man. Like we've been, doing music and stuff. Sheesh, man, ever since I can remember. And aside from everything else, he's just a good dude, And, we had lived together and we had always jammed out like in different apartments and stuff like that until one day he just came to me and was like, Roy, like, bro, we need our own spot. Like, we need our own spot, like our own studio space to not only do our own thing, but also like really get on our business tip. If we want to record stuff, I'm an audio engineer. So is my boy Dave. You know what I'm saying? We're trained in this. So I went to school for it. So did my boy Dave. So, we know how to mix records and do all that. My boy Dave has recorded like full bands, mic'd drum kit, drummers and stuff like that, all that shit. So he was like, bro, like we need our own spot. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to work. We don't have to worry about noise constraints and everything like that. So where I was living at the time in Southern California, y'all might be familiar, maybe not, but between San Diego and LA, there's this place called Temecula, California. It's kind of like the wine country of Southern California. So you got Napa up north, you got this Temecula, Murrieta area down south. So his dad had a property kind of out in the wine country, and we basically built this studio from the ground up. And I'm talking built, right? We bought a 10-foot by 20-foot shed, and we plopped it in the middle of this fucking pasture, man, in my homie's dad's property, right? Because he had a couple acres. And, my boy Dave, he's kind of an electrician by night. So we ran electricity from his house, man. And we were in there, bro, not construction workers at all, but we were in there getting busy, putting up the insulation. We built, we split it off and we built this studio, man, from the ground up. And because we weren't construction workers, there was just patchwork like fucking everywhere. Like it looked like shit. Like, but we painted the whole thing black. And once we painted it black, I was like, bro, we suck at construction, but this shit looks hard.
Yeah.
It looks hard, bro. We painted the whole thing black. And I was like, yo, it feels like a dungeon in here. Like, so we called it the dungeon.
Yeah.
And everything was fully functional. And we recorded, I think I made like 2 albums in that joint. And then we also, we had a little package and stuff because I produced, my boy Dave produces. So we had a little package where, folks would come through and record whatever they want. They could buy beats from us. And we made a little business out of it, man, and ran the dungeon for a couple years, actually.
That's awesome.
Dope.
That sounds
fire.
like the life.
That sounds like exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Right? I'm over
It
here
was
like,
sick, dog. Like, honestly, like, and it was funny because like so many people, like when we were starting it, were like, oh, like, what are you doing? Like y'all are going to build a studio like in the middle of a pasture. Like,
Of course.
and I was like, bro, I'm telling you, once we do this, we're not gonna have to worry about anything. We're going to have our own spot. We'll be able to make money off this because my boy Dave knows people. I know people. Like, we'll be able to crush it, And then as soon as I'm telling you, we were in there every day working on this. I think we built it once we got the shed, right? And we plopped it down in the middle of this pasture. I think we built it in like 3 weeks. It was nonstop, day and night. I was working from sundown to sunup. I get off work, do my daytime hustle, go straight there and just work on the studio.
That's how you know you're passionate.
So
yeah, that's grinding.
I want to know how it came to an end,
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with
Yeah.
the dungeon now?
if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, no, bro, I'll tell you, just like everything in life, like, certain things like happen. And what happened was like, the property that it was on,
Yeah.
was, my homie's pops. He sold the property. So,
Gotcha.
and what was crazy though about that was that when they had the appraiser out there, because we were a part of it, because we were like, what are we going to do with this? Because we got some dollars invested in this.
Exactly.
Like a couple grand like put into the construction of the place. But the inspector came out and basically appraised the property with our shed or our studio.
Oh, including it?
The property. Yeah.
That's pretty dope. So you got to sell it with the property.
So we got to sell it. So we didn't make all our money back, but we made a little bit, and we actually worked out a deal where we got to sell it to somebody who we know. So it still exists.
Dope. Somebody else is using the dungeon.
Yeah.
That's super.
Even though it didn't go the way you guys might have planned, I'm sure you and your homie learned a lot from that experience, and it's probably still helping you to this day.
For sure.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Hella, because like, what I'm saying? Like I said, we weren't construction workers, but we were focused on just making some shit happen and trying to get it. So that's what we did, man. We said we wanted a studio, we built it.
I can tell you've been at this for a minute because your YouTube, like, you got videos for days and videos that go way back. So, like, I respect that because I know we've all been in this for so long. So at that point, it's just something that's you're passionate about. One thing I wanted to ask you about is that there's a song on there. I think it's called "Not Today," and you had a lyric. It said, "I always had beats because I started with production, but I didn't start rapping until we got to the function." And I was like breaking it down. I was like,
Fire.
I feel like that means that you started making beats, but you're at parties with your friends, hanging out, rapping randomly, and then all of a sudden you just like start doing it in your free time. Is that kind of? I want to hear about that.
Bro, that's big facts right there.
Yes.
Dissecting the lyrics.
I began, I guess you could say I began like my musical journey as a producer. Yeah, for sure. Like, I went to college for hoops in the Midwest in Nebraska, and learned how to make beats there and was producing for other artists there. And then, I moved back to Cali because I need to be in warm weather. That's just me. But like, so I moved back, started producing for other artists. And then like rapping was just kind of like, I kind of fell into it, I guess, just out of kind of by accident, just like I said, like rapping at the function and stuff like that. But I remember this was probably like 08, 09. I had this idea where I wanted to do this project where kind of like some DJ Mustard shit, like Mustard before Mustard, where it was like, I want to produce all the songs on this project, and I wanted to get artists, maybe artists, that had some shine, people who knew who they were, and pair them with other artists maybe that weren't as like, known, but were just as dope. And I thought that was a dope idea, to put all that together. And I remember 9 months into the project, I maybe had like 3 or 4 verses from different people. And after a while, I thought, man, fuck, I'm going to do this shit myself. So that was kind of the moment where, as far as an artist, like on the mic, doing my rap shit, like that's kind of was the moment where I was like, all right, cool. Like I can produce my own stuff and record my own stuff and see where this shit goes. So
I want to intervene and say that was an awesome concept. And where are those projects at now? The verses that you had, where are they at from those other people?
They were, some of them worked out on like the first ever mixtape that I did. Some of them didn't, you know what I'm saying? Just cause business involved and stuff like that. But
yeah.
But nah, they're out there, man. They're on the first mixtape that I did. The first mixtape that I ever did where I was an artist and I produced the whole thing. They're on that one.
Tell the people where you can find it and what it's called.
It's on Dat Piff, bro. Y'all remember that?
Yeah, of course. We still use that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Like Dat Piff, it's called Below Sea Level. I was going by Big Roy at the time.
There you
Lit.
go.
But,
It happens.
but yeah, it's on Dat Piff, Below Sea Level. That was my first, like I said, the first, like my introduction to me kind of as an artist. You know what I mean? Like as
For sure.
as a
Do you remember what year that was?
that was 09,
09?
Mad respect.
Yeah, that's wild. That's so crazy.
a while ago.
So you
Hell
tried to
yeah.
put this mixtape together, realized nobody else was getting it done, decided I gotta step up, start writing, and then you just got the bug and you're like, all right, now I'm gonna start making my own stuff. It's kind of how it went.
Yeah, pretty much, man. Because like I said, I mean, from a producer's perspective, like I was already cooking beats. You know what I mean? Like I knew how to arrange songs. I knew where the chorus was going to come in. I knew if I wanted to if I wanted to spit like a 24 instead of 16, I wanted to get some shit off. Like I could do that. I could arrange the beat. So like I knew all the technical stuff, and I was like, bro, I could do this. I feel like I have a cool voice, you know. So I could just get on here and just kind of rock it. I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, I was kind of whack at first, but you know, you progress, you get better. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah,
It's like a
Yeah.
muscle.
Do
You just
we
flex
all?
it.
Yeah.
I think at one point in time we
Yeah.
were all whack.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all whack
I
in the
definitely
beginning.
know I was whack.
You don't get good without starting from somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just sounds like
Yeah.
the story of Kanye. That's what it keeps reminding me of.
Just building your
Producer
own.
turned artist.
wire, bro.
Yeah, through the wire. There you go, man. Well, there's a specific project I want to ask you about. The one I think it's called Rhythm is Life, and I saw you doing like a little breakdown video about like a Warren G lyric or something that like inspired you, and then what I thought was super cool that I want to hear you talk about, if you're down, is that you said that after you went through the explanation behind why you called it that, which I'd love to hear, you're talking about how you took live sounds and spread them into the entire project. And I thought that was super lit. And I kind of wanted to hear about that.
That's dope. I'm glad you picked up on that. Cause yeah, like, that was something that like I did after the project was pretty much done. Like we had the whole thing done, you know? And I was just like, yo, like this project is called Rhythm is Life, Music is Life. So like, I want to take like little bits and elements of life and put it into the music. So I think on like one song, I think on the song, All Right, featuring, two of my homies, Ray Clev and my other partner, Ahmad Anwar, who's incredible lyricist and singer. Like I put a cash register just as a percussion in the beat. And y'all hear it and just it's like a little cha-ching here and there. I think in another song, shit, man, like I can't forget which one, but I put like birds. I put some birds in the song as well. So like in every song, there's like a little like element of like life. You know what I mean? That I put like little sound effects and things like that, like in the beats and stuff like that. So, and yeah, that was just something like towards the end of the project. You know how y'all know how it is. Like sometimes you just get an idea and you're like, "Oh my god, that's fire!" Like
that's super
why didn't
artistic.
I think of that earlier? So
No,
yeah,
for sure.
I think it's little things like that that really make projects stand out. Like not everybody hears it, but it's there, and because it's there, it gives it so much more impact and meaning.
Yeah.
Well, for sure. Because if I was to go
Right,
back,
exactly.
yeah, like I watched that video first. So if I was to go back and listen to that project, I would listen to it with so much more intention because I would understand what it really meant and what the thought was behind it. So I feel like that's lit. And I also think I'm super jealous of people like you that can produce and like,
Yeah.
because you're the master of your fate. Like you can literally just make it whatever you want.
Well, Andy engineers himself too.
I know, man. You've got the keys to the kingdom.
All he
Triple
needs
threat.
is a videographer. That's all he
threat.
needs.
Yeah, man. That's so
Jesus.
awesome.
Let me tell y'all, and the reason, if I could just kind of expand upon that for a little bit,
Of
and
course.
just break that down a little bit, like that was something like when it comes to like the mixing and the engineering, I gotta say I owe it to one particular person who's my homie Spectrum, D Mitchell. Like he's from Spring Valley, San Diego, which is East County, San Diego. And I used to cut all my early stuff. That first album, Below Sea Level, was recorded at his spot. And I used to just sit there after I cut vocals, and I used to just sit there and watch him on what he's doing in Pro Tools. And I used to ask him questions and bug the shit out of him. He used to be so mad at me, bro.
Of course.
And I was like, yo, I'm sorry, bro. I just want to know what you're doing. Like, and after a while, I was just like, yo, like, this is something like I need to learn, bro. If I really want to like take this shit seriously, like, and be like the best artist, producer, like whatever, like I need to know Pro Tools. I need to know what my man is doing. Like, so when I built that studio that you asked about, I remember he came through and he blessed me with some plugins to this day that I still use. And this was like 2012. So he taught me a bunch, man. And like I said, I kind of ran with what he taught me. And ever since then, like each project that I do, not like, I won't say each, but for the most part, like it's me on the mix, it's me on the production, and then I master it and do all that stuff as well. So just something I felt like I needed to learn and just execute when needed, you know?
The fact that you took it upon yourself to ask those questions and figure out what the engineer was doing speaks volumes about yourself as an artist and entrepreneur, because a lot of people don't take that extra step or time to ask those questions or even care to ask those questions, you know? So that's big of you.
No, for sure. So many tools in your tool belt. Like, I just feel like it gives you so much creative, like,
Freedom for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I know there's a lot of music. You have catalogs on catalogs. Like I went on your Spotify and you have music like, I don't know if it was 2012 or 2010.
2010, I
That's
think
what it was,
I
2010.
don't even know how you get music on Spotify back then. Like I would have been
Was
so.
Spotify even available in 2010?
It's so crazy.
I don't think so.
I don't think it
I don't
was.
think it
either.
was.
No, bro.
It's on there. It's on there.
Well, you
somehow.
probably got it on a streaming service, and then when Spotify came about, they
that
threw it up
pivot
there.
over.
They backlogged everything.
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
Which is
Baby.
yeah.
CD Baby.
There it is. Yeah,
I
there you
remember
go.
CD
There
Baby.
you go. That's awesome.
That's classic.
What was the push that led to you going from California to Austin? You know?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. A lot of people ask me that. And, you know, honestly, like, sometimes in life you get like comfortable, you know? I grew up in California, like that's where I'm from. It's so much a part of me. Like it'll always be, but I don't know, man. Like it just got to a point where I think like, that's why I want to say, when did I move, man? This was at the end of 2016. I was in Austin at the beginning of 2017. So I think in about mid 2016, I just told myself like, yo, I need to shake it up a little bit. And I thought to myself, the way that I could really shake it up was to go to a different city that I've never been before, to a state that I have never lived in and never even visited. But I heard good things about this city, man, like the city of Austin, Texas, like just in general, you know, especially the music scene out here. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but like they tout it as the live music capital of, you know, of the world, really, like, you know, South by Southwest and ACL and huge music festivals. Like, so I was eyeing it for a minute, and I just kind of, I think towards the end of the year, I was just like, you know what, man, fuck it. I'm gonna go for it. So I literally sold everything in my house that I could not pack in my car. And I rolled out here with I had a few things in place, you know what I'm saying, for a daytime hustle and things like that, but I didn't know anybody here. And I just kind of rolled the dice, and I rolled out here, and I stayed in a hotel for the first week, and fast forward, and I'm here now. So
That's crazy.
I have so much
Rolling
props.
the dice. That was a
Motivation.
great analogy.
Yeah.
So much props. I feel like I don't know. I want to highlight how much respect I have for you doing that, because I think so many people have that same feeling that you have.
They want to do
but
it.
they don't act on it, and then that can lead to a lot of like just
Complacency.
discontent. So props to you for doing that. How is Austin? I want to know, like, what do you like about the city? Because I've heard nothing but good things. So, and I imagine that you like it because you're still there.
Austin is so dope, and it's so funny because like where I grew up, like in San Diego, you know, you got kind of like there's kind of like the surf culture element, you know, and here in the South, this like Austin's kind of like historically, and no disrespect when I say this, but like back in the day, it's kind of like a hippie, you know what I'm saying? Like it has kind of that, you know,
Vibe, yeah.
that kind of vibe. It reminds me a lot, I guess what I'm trying to say, it reminds me a lot of where I grew up, just the vibe and people, you know, it's very chill. It's a younger demo here too, which I kind of like, because obviously it's kind of a college town. You got, you know, UT is a huge campus here, like, you know, huge college and huge sports, obviously, which is what I'm into. So, and then like the music scene, like since I've been here, I've been working with, I got to say, some of the illest artists that I've worked with here in Austin. The music scene and the hip hop scene, rap scene, in you know, specific to what I do is, I got to say, I've come across some artists here that I'm working with right now that I'm telling you, like, we got some shit in the works that is crazy. So that's what I like most about it. It's just a dope city, dope vibe, and I'm super glad that everything kind of, you know, panned out, man, the way that it did. So, because I didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen. So, but I'm glad, man, you know, and it just kind of, it lets you know, like, sometimes when you roll the dice and shit kind of works out, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, okay, cool. I did make the right decision.
Like the universe had my back on that one.
So you said you're working with other artists. Do you mean features, you're producing, or you're engineering for them when you say working with other artists?
For sure, bro. Like right now, bro, just to let you know where I'm at, I'm in producer mode heavy right now.
Oh, we noticed from
I see
Instagram.
you on your
Yeah.
Instagram.
Definitely.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, man, like tapping into me, and I'm tapping into y'all too, just so you know. But
That means a lot.
But yeah, man, I'm in producer mode heavy right now. So I'm working with a couple different artists, producing, you know, doing beats for them, involved in projects and things like that, for a lot of artists out here. And most notably, there's this dude out here. I'm gonna just say it, man, because I fuck with this dude's sound and his whole movement heavy. It's this dude Jay Soulja out here in Austin. I met dude earlier this year, actually, and we just kind of instantly clicked and linked. And like I said, I just respect what he's doing in and for the city. And it's just, his sound is like, there's so much like we have in common, as just as far as sonically goes. So him, and he's kind of just opened me up to different artists here in the city. The scene is crazy here. So I'm blessed, man, just to be able to work with, you know what I'm saying, like-minded artists, you know. So yeah,
Fire.
That's
Hell
amazing.
Did you have any plans for South by Southwest before it got canceled?
Oh man,
bro, of course,
Here we
bro.
go.
Like, hell yeah, I was gonna be all up in there.
Right.
We talked about it
Dude,
last year. We were actually gonna schedule to go this year, and then we backed out. And luckily, we backed out because it got canceled. But might look
Have
into
y'all
it
been
next year.
before?
No, not
Never.
yet.
Never, no.
It's an experience, man. It's crazy. Yeah.
Definitely
Gotta
want to.
Yeah.
they have it
I
next
can
year. We
imagine.
out there.
Yeah, next year we're definitely there.
Gotta make it happen. There's one thing I want to ask you about coming full circle, and this is like a little stuff because I'm like an athletic trainer. I saw them balling your whole life, and I saw you hurt yourself a little bit, and it ended up, with pretty serious surgery. And I know, I don't know if you feel okay talking about it, but I wanted to ask you about that and just kind of see. I know that maybe sometimes in moments like that, music can carry you through those times when you can't be as active and you can't move around. So I wanted to ask you about that and just kind of see if music really like kind of gave you a little bit of, pull to kind of get through that.
Man. Nail on the head. Like,
Yeah.
straight up. So, yeah, like, I've been at like I said, I mean, I've been involved in athletics and sports. I played basketball in high school and in college. And I'm just kind of an active, for the most part, just an active dude in general. I've always been kind of in and out of the gym, weightlifting, hooping on the side just for fun, and it was weird. Like a couple years ago, I would have like little like sore back pains and things like that. Every once in a while, they would fade away after a week or so. And I remember I was hooping at this gym, and one day, and I think the next day I woke up and my entire back and my entire left leg, it was like the most incredible pain I've ever felt, all the way down my leg, like into my toes. Like my toes were hurting. And I was like, oh shit, like this is bad. And ended anyways. Like I went through the whole process, and I had to have pretty, not like emergency surgery, but like it was pretty much, the doctor told me like, yo, you have like 2 busted discs in your back, bro. Like what, like, do you work in construction, or like, did you get in an accident or what? And I was like, no, you know, like, and he said, well, the only way to fix it is to just, you know, you got to have surgery, bro. We got to repair your spine. Damn. You know, and you know, that's really the only way. And after that, you know, things are going to be different for you. Like, you can't be as active as you once were. Like, I'm not allowed to this day, like, to lift weights at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go out and do certain things that I once did. So this was a few years ago. It was July 30th, 2018 is when I had that surgery on my lumbar spine. And really, it was like a month after that, you know, where it was like I really locked in with music, you know, and I made a, you know, an album, just getting some shit off, like, and ever since then, I've really been in go mode since that surgery. Yeah, for sure. It's music has helped me got through that. Yeah.
That's inspirational.
I'll tell you, man, like I said, like I'm an athletic trainer, so I know when I saw that, I was like, damn, I know exactly what you did, and I know exactly what that looks like. So I know the tediousness of the rehab after the fact too. And, you know, you're such a positive guy right now, like your energy's super positive. So I can tell like that probably helped carry you through that situation. And I think it's awesome that you had music to put your energy into. Cause like I deal with athletes that only have sports. So then when they can't do sports, they don't know what to do with everything else. So I think that's awesome. And it seems like at that point in time, you locked in and made a bunch of music, and that's a win. You know what I mean? That's a way to come out of it with a positive, right?
Bro, like I did, man. Like I think like I did one. I did a solo album. I did the Big Kid Project 2, which is like a sequel to a tape that I did like back in like 2010, 2011. I did that. I produced an album that I just put out, Growth. I dropped a couple singles, and then of course throughout that time too, I was just cooking up, like, and just making beats too, and producing for other artists and stuff like that. So yeah, the music for sure, like, has been, without that, like, honestly, like, I don't know if I could have like gone through it, just because it's just my outlet. It always has been, but ever since that surgery and ever since that kind of experience, it's just been even, you know what I'm saying? Like even more so for me. So if that makes sense.
It definitely does. It definitely does. I definitely wanted to shift and talk about some music that you got now. I see, like, not that long ago, you just dropped a project. Growth, and the trailer for that was wild. It was like voiceover and some really, really intense cinematic, you know what I mean, cuts, and it made me be like, damn, this album's about to be wild. And I see that just dropped, so I kind of wanted to see what that was about, and like what tracks specifically off that project you're really excited to share with people.
Yes. Yeah, man, like that was crazy. We shot that little video. My wife and I got to shout her out because she actually filmed that. She doesn't have a lot of experience behind the camera, but I got a little T3, nothing crazy, but it works. And she shot that little trailer at this little botanical gardens right here in Austin. So shout out to them, because that's a dope little scene. They got a cool little garden. But yeah, the Growth project was something that I wasn't even planning like to really do. I started working on it like last year, and I just kind of had a collection of songs. And next thing I know, I look up at my little whiteboard. This is why I keep looking over here, just so y'all know. It's not because I'm being weird. This is my workflow.
I feel
and so I had this little whiteboard, and I was like, oh shit, I got like 9 songs, man. Like, and I really like all of these songs. Like, I was like, bro, I need to package this and put this out. Cause it was like, you know, this project was like the whole idea of this. And then I'm going in and like listening to the songs that I have. And I was like, all of this really just shows my maturity and my growth as a person, and as an artist. So like, I got to call this shit growth. Like it's that simple. So, and some songs to answer your question, like that, most notably I want to talk about, like, is the track called Can't, apostrophe T. I won't say who it is, but I got a good friend of mine who, over the years has his ups and downs with, addiction battle. Mm-hmm. So he had actually asked me to write a song for him, in his perspective. So that's what that entire song is about.
Wow.
So I wrote it from my words, but it's from his perspective. And if you listen to it, like, there's a lot of elements of like voices in your head and like people like, you know what I'm saying, not being in your corner and shit like that. So it's kind of a deep song, you know what I'm saying? But he wanted me to do it. So I wrote it in 3 days. And that's probably probably my favorite song on the album, just because it's so personal, you know what I mean? And it's for my homeboy. So
right.
Yeah.
That's cool. I appreciate that a lot.
No, that's awesome. It's a cool thing to be able to write from someone else's perspective too. Mm-hmm. I feel like as an artist, that's it's not everybody has an easy time doing that. So.
Shows a lot of growth.
Look at Brandon bringing that full circle.
That's important.
I know. I have a couple more questions, but I don't know if you guys have any that I may got skipped over.
I've been writing down questions, and then you've just been rattling them off. I'm like, damn it, she stole my question.
I had
a
vision.
To the bottom of this.
Had a vision. I want to make sure I got everything in.
I just love the fact that you are very professional with the content you do put out. Mm-hmm. It is aesthetically pleasing. Like if I were an artist and I went to your profile and I'm like, oh man, he makes beats, and they're not just thrown up there with the screen recorded preview from your phone. Like you actually take the time to make a little preview video, and I think that goes a long way as far as artists looking at it. I follow a lot of different producers, and some of them look more professional than others, even though they all garner about the same sound. But I just wanted to salute you for all the work you do put in, and a lot of it goes unnoticed to some artists, but us being artists, we know the work you are putting in behind the scenes.
We appreciate it.
Man, bro, I appreciate that, man. Like, hella appreciate that. Thank you, bro.
Already.
Salute.
Hey, man, we're going to be working in the future, man. I done peep what you got.
He said, I'm going to be hitting you up.
I got some beats written down that I got my eye on.
He's trying to get on your good side first.
Facts.
Warm you up.
You're going to fly him through.
I know, talking about beats, I want to ask about this baller pack. Because, I mean, you dropping...
Oh, he did say something about that, yeah.
Dropping some, little snippets on your Instagram. And then what's that all about?
Man, like, I kind of how you said, like, I'm just very much like y'all. Like, I'm just a creative person, and I try to find, like, new kind of, like, fresh ways to keep people engaged, whether that be on social or whatever. So, like, lately, like, I've been sending beat packs, and I'm naming them from my favorit basketball players.
Which is lit.
That's fire.
Right. So, I like that. So I'm like, yo, like, this... You know how it goes as creatives. It's like, all right, let me run with this. So the next beat pack that you get from me is going to be a baller beat pack, and all the beats in there are going to be different basketball players' names, shit like that. Nice. So just stuff like that, man. It's fun stuff.
Take us into the analytics. Like, how much do you charge for the beat pack, and how long is it, etc. Things like that.
Man, it just depends, bro. Like, honestly, dog, like it really does, and that's probably not the most sexiest answer, but it does. Like,
at least he's honest.
I like this guy.
I do the same thing.
I'm not gonna sit up here and like say like, oh, it's just, if you're a dope artist and I fuck with you, like I fuck with you, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Let's get it,
Yeah.
But there's, just like anything, like there's business involved. So it's like, it depends kind of what you want to use it for. I've done music for guys, so y'all know, like I've done music for yoga videos. I've produced music for yoga videos.
That's super cool.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah, like off the wall shit like that. So it just kind of depends, man. You know what I'm saying? Usually within a pack of beats or whatever, it'd be like right now on my website. I don't know if y'all have checked it out, but on my website, I'm running a little special that's basically like, if you buy a couple beats, I'll give you one for free type thing like that.
Sure.
So,
Oh, that's super dope. We see that
like,
pattern.
He's got the
a
buy
lot.
two get one free.
Yeah,
right
that's a
now.
great deal.
I'm about to hit you up for some like wedding highlight.
I'm coming through
tracks.
Back
Big
tracks.
whoa.
I need fun mixtape.
I feel like the baller pack is genius. I just want to say this before I forget, because right now everybody that loves basketball has nothing to put their energy into. So that was the first thing I said was like, this is lit, because right now there's no basketball, but like you're obviously super into basketball and blending that with being a producer, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was dope.
I think that is really dope that, now that I'm hearing his actual story
His
and
pitch.
then seeing the baller pack, because I seen the baller pack when I was, going through his content. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But now that I've actually heard the story of, you playing ball all your life and this and that, it all makes sense. And it definitely comes full
It's
circle.
enticing, very
sure.
enticing.
So one thing I wanted to ask, because I always wonder this, and I think Trav does too. I think we all do. Do you have to balance your creative life with like a side job or another hustle? Or are you able to completely do that full time? Like, what's that look like, and how do you kind of maneuver through that part of life?
I'm working on it.
I feel
This
it.
is what as creatives and as music makers, what I'm saying? This is what we want to do, like full time. I'm not quite there yet, full, transparency, full honesty, but, I do work a day job and stuff. I'm in marketing. So luckily for me, I get to take a lot of the stuff, what I do in the day, and apply it to what I do with this music stuff that I love how to do. So,
Dope.
or that I love to do, excuse me. So, I'm working on that. I've been at this shit for a while, and that's not like a flex or anything, but it's just something that I'm proud of. And I'm always picking up stuff. Every week I learn something new that I can apply. So, to me, how I balance it, I mean, that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those persons who, like, if y'all know me, and we're gonna talk more offline, by the way, too.
I'm here
we'll
for
definitely get to know each other, like,
Yeah.
and but once y'all get to know me a little more, like, I got a high motor, y'all. Like, I really do. So how I balance it is just really just love for the shit and just wanting to continue to do it, and always just like finding different creative ways, like the baller pack, what I'm saying? Like new stuff that I'm working on, just trying to keep it going, and like, and really that's it. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
I want to stop and interrupt everybody to say, if you have an idea, because Roy just said that the baller pack came from a simple idea. If you have an idea, hit the ground running with that idea, because it's 9 times out of 10 going to turn out to be greatness.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think you're right. A lot of people might have a little piece of an idea and kill it before
And they
even
shelf it, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? But he just took it to the ground and hit running, started running.
100%.
I think that's awesome.
Seems like you do that a lot, like moving to Texas, just hitting the ground. And
Impulse, man.
yeah,
Like,
man.
Bro, listen. See, sometimes in life, bro, you just gotta go.
you got to take
I know
chances.
so many people, dog, like that just have great fucking ideas, and I'm just like, bro, like you need to go, man. Like you
Right.
need to go with the idea, and you
Yep.
need to produce some shit, like drop some shit, whatever it is you're doing. Not into music, all right, whatever. Like you just gotta go, man. Like, and that's kind of like, I don't know, man. That's just kind of, I guess that's how I roll, I guess.
Which is good.
That's cool, yeah,
That's
it
why
works for you.
That's why you are where you are, man. Like,
Absolutely.
that's why you've, gotten to the
Right.
place.
I don't try to like overthink stuff too, because I used to be like that. Like I used to hella be like that, actually, like mad overthink stuff and like plan it out. And then after a while I was just like, yo, got an idea? Cool. Just execute it, make it look good. Let's grow. So,
I feel it.
I like it.
It shows, man.
I think we as artists or creatives in general tend to overthink things a lot.
All the
But
time.
he's got the right idea. You just need to go. You got the idea, roll with it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're in the same position you were in. But
yep.
hell, man, this whole conversation that we've had, like, is very motivating. Like, just hearing your come up and what you've gone through and the moves, like, is very motivating. And I hope you know, everybody that's listening to this podcast feels the same way and takes something positive from it.
Definitely dropped lots of jewels. I know we just had a conversation about overthinking, like right before we hopped
Literally
on
right
this
before we hopped on.
call, so we can relate to you, man, which is cool. And I think it's also awesome. Like, super happy that we did this virtual podcast, because if we would have waited to see you in person, it could have been forever. And just your energy, I could
Yes.
tell you're like-minded. You're someone that, you know, we could reach out to if we have questions. You could reach out to us, and that's one of the biggest reasons why we started this podcast, was to build a community of people like that. So we really appreciate having you on for our first virtual one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yo,
I don't know if does anyone have any other stuff that they want to touch on?
I want to ask Mr. Roy Dean to go ahead and tell the people where they can find you, what you got upcoming, etc.
Yeah, bro, for sure. Yeah, y'all, of course, man, y'all can find me online probably most easily on the social medias and stuff. I'm Just Roy Dean, so JUSTROYDEAN. Yeah, that's the Instagram, that's the Facebook, that's the Twitter, JustRoyDean.com, YouTube/JustRoyDean. Got a lot in the works right now, man. Like I said, you know, I'm producing for a lot of dope artists, and I'm telling you, I got some big things lined up, some big placements coming up very, very soon. I can't disclose the full details on that yet, but yeah, y'all gonna hear me. I'm trying to smash the game the rest of the year. So, got some projects lined up as well that I'm gonna announce very soon. So,
Hell yeah.
Big
Heard you,
whoa.
man.
Roy got me hype.
Thank you for coming on, Roy. I really appreciate the
you
energy.
guys, man, you guys are super dope, bro. Like, I know, like, y'all probably hear this a lot, but what you guys are doing are super dope. And Travis, bro, I'm so freaking happy, bro, that like I came across your shit on the internet. Dog.
What are the
Like,
chances,
Hold
right?
on. Wait a minute. We went through this whole podcast and we didn't even bring up the fact of how y'all know each other.
Should we
Y'all-
talk
hold
about
on.
it?
Talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out Fiverr.
Go ahead, Roy.
Fiverr,
Tell
dog.
them. Yeah. what are the chances?
Right.
Yeah.
No, he hit me up. Like, I stopped on Fiverr for a while, and then Roy hit me up. I was like, hey, man, you did some stuff back in the day for me.
He
It was
had
like
your,
a couple
personal
months, I think.
info.
And I was like, yo, screw Fiverr. Let's just do this straight up. Like,
That's
hit me
so
up.
dope.
Yeah.
But, yeah. shout
And
out.
look, you're here now. That's so crazy. It was from
Right.
a Fiverr transaction. Like,
Yeah.
Bro, because dog, you told me, you said after, bro, like, remember I hit you because you kept doing the
Instagram
little
things,
preview
yeah.
videos. I was like, dude, every time like every time you did it, I was like, I don't never have to send shit back, and I'm meticulous, bro. Like,
Right.
so my bad,
Uh-huh.
but like. I never had to send shit back. I was like, bro, this is perfect, sick, roll with it. And then one
Right.
time you were like, hey, yo, like, you should check my crew out. Like, real, like, cash.
subtle. Super subtle.
I just slide it in.
Trav. And then you were like, oh,
I'm
man.
telling you, y'all, I checked y'all out, and I was like, remember I hit you back? I was like,
Yeah.
bro, WTF.
Yeah.
Fire emojis, bro. Like, after fire. Like, yeah, you guys are sick, but y'all already knew that. But
Appreciate it.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
We appreciate it.
We try to stay humble.
Hey, man, but back at you, man, for sure, for sure.
Exactly.
And this was awesome. Like, you did a great job. Like, awesome story. I cannot wait to see what all that secret stuff that you have up your sleeve is coming soon.
And the growth is out now.
And yeah, the growth is out now.
Yeah, growth is out now.
Find that on streaming platforms. Check it out. Check my man out on Instagram, on YouTube. He's got stuff for days.
We're going to
Just
drop
Roy
the
Dean.
links.
Yeah, we're going to drop the links.
Baller Pack coming soon. You know, if you're trying to be a baller but you can't ball, you might want to check out some beats about it. Like, so much stuff to come. So, Roy, it was a pleasure having you. It was an amazing experience. This is another episode of the Iron Skillet podcast. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.